So we finally met P.T. Westmoreland in tonight's episode.
Yes,
Teddy, what did you think of him?
I love Stephen McHattie in the role. I also, I love Orphan Black and I love most of the characters, but not every New Edition character has worked on the show. I think it's fair to say that. It's like any show, not every character is gonna work. This guy works. Stephen McHattie is awesome. I love that we met him too with that suitably scientific and kind of interesting, convoluted allegory about cheese. Like, I thought that was a really interesting way to introduce him. I love his dynamic with Cosima right out of the gate. They're two scientific minds. However, I don't totally trust him. In the episode, we also heard MK say something doesn't add up about P.T. Westmoreland. Remember, right before she died? I don't know if he's actually 170 years old. I question that. Sure, we see him in pictures and he's got, Darwin's turtle and he's with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but I think he may not be all that he seems. I don't know if he's 170 years old and this brilliant scientist. What do you think?
Interesting. Well, I just find the juxtaposition so interesting. He looks so regal almost, and he's in this beautiful home.
Regal.
And then he's got his revival dudes all hanging out in yurts by the water. Like, it just seems like such a different, and yet they're worshiping him. So it's a very fascinating dynamic.
Well, they're like a cult, and I gotta say, I hate everybody in Camp Revival. I know there's some mystery with Mud, but I don't like her and her like cult eyes.
I know.
Everybody, I'm just like, the whole thing's creepy. I hate them all. I hate them all.
Well, let's talk about this episode because this is a jam-packed episode. This is also a really brutal episode.
Yeah.
I was so excited when we saw MK back. I was like, all right, she's gonna play a prominent role in this season. And then boom, the way she died was really brutal.
I was not expecting that.
No, and I always kind of had a bit of a soft spot for Ferdinand, even though we know he's a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah.
I can't believe that he took out his rage and anger for Rachel on MK and stomped her to death.
Oh, it was like sexual violent role playing. It was pretty heavy, but I mean, Orphan Black has never been afraid to go with kind of graphic visuals. We also obviously saw some graphic visuals with Helena stabbing that nurse. I was surprised they went there, and that was a very kind of illuminating scene because we learned that her embryo in her womb can actually heal itself. And I've been saying all along, I think Orphan Black is all this artifice set up around the fact that it's the next generation who are truly remarkable, the Kiras of the world, right?
Right.
And that seems to be where we're going.
It is. It's something interesting. The clones themselves don't have these magical healing powers, but yet their offspring does. And I think that that's strange, but kind of cool to explore. Let's talk about Kira. Wholly at the end of this episode, she decided to go with Auntie Rachel over her own mom. And I have to tell you, can I be honest with you, after 4 seasons of trying to get away from the Neolutions, all the different factions that they've had to deal with, why not find out the answers to why they have magical power? Why not find the answers and the cure to the sickness that these clones deal with? I'm sorry, I'm going with Kira.
You agree with Cosima and Kira and everything? I totally disagree. I think Sarah's the only one who's right. And Ferdinand, toward the beginning of the episode, says, is Sarah Manning finally ready to behave? My hope is no, not at all, because I think she's the only sane one of the bunch. I think there's nefarious intent going on, and all is not what it seems. You agree with her?
Maybe it's just as a viewer, I just want answers.
Oh, I couldn't disagree more. All right, well, join us for the next episode of Orphan Black this Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Space.
You think less of me now?
No.